Hello everybody, Accureye here, and welcome back to another Accureye Accureye Talks. Accureye Talks, where all the characters stand that I currently have in Street Fighter. But before we even start talking about this and part 11, I believe, of Accureye Talks, I would like to ask you a question of how did you find my channel if you're new to this channel? And of course, if you do play Street Fighter, what is your favorite character to play as in Street Fighter? But with that being said, today we are going to be talking about another mid-tier character. At least I consider him a mid-tier character, Vega. Of course, a defensively sound Vega could be a high-tier character. But, you know, in fact, in many ways, many of the characters who we've talked about currently, if you're defensively sound with them, or if you're fairly sound with them, they can actually be a fairly high-tier character. But, yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about Vega, who is our, our character of today. And, personally, that's the one move I love about Vega is his little back grab, where he goes, aha! Which is like that. Which is that backflip move. I love that move, honestly, when it comes to using Vega. But, yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, what is the best V-trigger for him, I guess you could ask me. And, honestly, well, in my opinion, V-trigger 1 is pretty good. I like V-trigger 1. I don't really understand V-trigger 2, and you'll see here that I try out V-trigger 2 just to see what it is, but I don't really understand it, to be honest. I've been looking, I looked into it, and I was just thinking maybe it's a reversal type move, but I really, again, like I said, I don't really understand too much about what Vega's V-trigger 2 is all about. So yeah, so I would recommend V-trigger 1, but that's just my recommendation. Sorry about that, everyone. Anyway, yeah. So here we go. In our usual routine, as we do for of course, Street Fighter. Whenever we talk about this, is of course the showcase, the showcase of the character. Or should I say my character in a way. But yeah, let's go ahead and go into the showcase where I will kind of show you all about Vega and some of the things that, he can do. Of course, personally, Vega is I'm kind of selling him. He is one of the characters that I used to play as in the old days of Street Fighter, but, yeah. So, yeah, with that being said, you'll see, here is an okay showcase of Vega and pretty much what he can do, going forward. So, yeah. Of course, going at the start, you can tell that this Val doesn't start the way I was expecting it to. Obviously, I was trying to figure out what this guy was doing, and as it is with any competitive player, you know how this goes. It's all about knowing the frame rate, the frame motions, and whatnot. And I mean, that's pretty much just it, It's all about the frames for anyone, and we'll talk more about the playing the game. And possibly becoming competitive in Street Fighter on a later date. But as you can see here, I mean, I'm not bad with Vega still. I'm still okay with Vega. You can clearly see that I have some skill with Vega. And, mostly it's because he is a combo master. He's great for people who are looking to do combos. And that's his biggest strength, So, but anyway, so yeah. And here, I mean, I love that grab. And if you haven't already noticed, I love that grab. And then this happens at the end, which, I mean, that is just clearly just a showcase of Vega. And, you know, it does show that Vega can be a high-tier character when defensively sound. If you're kind of like me, I mean, being defensively sound is something that you can be okay with. And that's exactly what I showed here. But, yeah, unfortunately, I think I made this guy rage quit, which is why he doesn't challenge me again. So we move on to another match where I can kind of give you a better showcase of Vega and, you know, pretty much what he does, you know. So, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you know. So you'll see here how, going forward,
is 2 wins.
You'll see here going forward how, you know, how, yeah, Vega just pretty much ends up destroying, or at least showcasing, you know, the best in kind of the best in, like, Rashid and whatnot. So, yeah. I mean, this wasn't an easy fight. You'll see here how this fight wasn't easy, and I mean, it could have really gone anyway, but in the end, I mean, I think what happened was just the fact that I'm a little more defensively sound than most people believe with Vega, and that's probably something that really does, showcase Vega at his best. It's like, you know, he's so underestimated when you know, when in the hands of a confident player, he's so underestimated. And I mean, even here, you'll kind of see how I just end up making the comeback. And, you know, and I mean, the source match is pretty good for the showcase of him being maybe under the consideration of being a mid to high tier. But I still believe he is just a mid tier character, even though I do make quite a comeback in this fight. So, yeah. But moving on, as we move on into the second fight, you'll see how, you know, it's very much the result is the same thing. You know.
Where should I start?
And, I mean, even here, I may be a little bit of a show-off here for Vega because, you know, Vega was probably one of the older characters, like I said, that I used to play as. Well, I don't play as him that much now. You know, you can still see some of the skill, and hopefully some of the, you know, some of the work that I've put in the old days to practice him, because, you know, yeah, there were some parts like here where it's just completely surprising that, you know, that, you know, some people still get tricked up by Vega. And, you know, it's not surprising. Vega, especially in Street Fighter 5, gets used so unoften that most people probably don't know how to counter a good Vega, you know. So, you know, yeah. But anyway, yeah, you know. But yeah, you know, anyway, so. But you'll see here as we move on to the next, video. Sorry about the yawn. But as we move on to the next, battle, you'll see here that it just shows that Vega is still a mid-tier character because, you know, and this is because, you know, even though I have a good start here, this ends up just not working in my favor, you know. And you'll see here how this really just doesn't end up working in my favor because, you know, it's like this guy all of a sudden, you know, it's one of those times where all of a sudden I just had to pick up my game to try and hopefully catch him off guard. And this is kind of where he decides to catch me off guard because, you know, because he makes the comeback. And that's just like, you know, it was an interesting fight. Like, I will admit, this was a fairly interesting fight. And, you know, it's funny how, in the end, you'll see how I pick it up in the end. Because, once again, I kind of just swap up my game. And you'll see how, like I said, as a kind of competitive player, and even being kind of competitive for just the local scene where I live, when I was in the local competitive scene, you'll see how this just all plays out into my favor in some degree. So yeah, because like right there, it's kind of like you just see the time and I guess you could say the practice that I used to put in, or the practice that I put in, and hopefully this does showcase how much time and practice I really put in. Not so much into Vega, but just in general. When I was very competitive at it, as you all may know if you've been watching me stream for quite some time, I've been very competitive. I've been getting back into the competitive scene, and you'll see here that I put a lot of my time. I go really seriously into my practice sessions to of course, be able to stick it out and of course be in a good motion of just being able to hang into the motion and the just the overall stand. I mean, this just shows that overall, of course, Vega is mid-tier. He isn't like high tier at all, but I mean, in some cases, I would say he could be considered under mid to high tier, and mostly this is because, of course, of the what he does, just in general with being able to, hang out and be, just be in general, just in control. Like I've said, a good defensively sound Vega is surprising, and you'll almost never see very often like Vega being used. I mean, great Vegas are out there in the world, and of course you'll see that that they are absolutely amazing in some degree. Like that's one thing that many people may not realize, is that great Warframes are not Warframes, but great players are out there. Great people are on with Vega, and they are they are of course an interesting an overall interesting player base, and that's probably the biggest thing you'll see here, is the showcase of of the mid tier to high to maybe even slightly high tier like character here or on this for what I'm doing, because I take a lot of time, and as many competitive players probably do, we are very focused on practicing, learning everything we can about and learning, of course, everything we can about each character and each thing. So so of course, with that being said, you win. It's shown. But anyway, hopefully you'll all like this video. You saw how I take that win in the end. But hopefully you like this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, get subscribed, hit that bell notification so you know when my next video is going to drop next, because I know you do. And if you want to see what shenanigans I'm doing competitively or whatever live on Twitch, you can follow me at www.twitch.tv/Accureye. But thank you everyone for joining me on this video, And until the next one, this is Accureye signing out and saying farewell, everyone.